There's an effort underway to make sure that feminine products are available in public high schools for free. And a freshman at UMass Amherst helped craft the legislation that is now in committee. Carolee McGrath sat down with student Caroline Williams and has this report.
It was actually for my junior year AP English language research paper. And I was really struggling to find a topic that I was really passionate about. And I did some digging because that topic really struck me as just kind of a basic necessity. And it's a really huge problem around the world for girls in school and even in my own school and just in the United States in general. And that really struck me. So I started doing some research, and there are some movements going on right now that are very successful in trying to ensure that all girls, particularly in schools, have access to the feminine hygiene products that they need.
So what was the response from your paper?
Yeah, so I did get an A on the paper, not two, but my teacher, who really, the topic kind of stuck out to him too, and it's something he never really thought about as like a male teacher, and he said that I should, take it a step further. So I talked to my school principal, and I was on the school committee, which is like the advisory board to the principal, and I brought up this topic about how our bathrooms don't have free products for girls. And the way that I brought it up to him, as I've seen it presented before, is that feminine hygiene products like pads and tampons are just the equivalent of toilet paper for women, and that they're just a basic necessity that women need on a regular basis. So he really liked the idea, and he made me like a promise that by the next year we would have free dispensers in all the girls' bathrooms with period products for girls.
Couldn't you go to the nurse's office right now? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Like if something happened in a high school, like what do you do now in every other high school if there was a situation?
So the situation in my high school, which I'm assuming is very similar for a lot of other high schools, was if you're stuck in the bathroom, you text a friend if you don't have the products, because it can happen, surprisingly, and which is really frustrating because then both of you are out of class for, 10, 15 minutes. It's also kind of embarrassing, to be stuck in the bathroom, or, you kind of wrap up some toilet paper in your underwear and just kind of make do for the day. Or you can go to the nurse's office, you have to get a pass, and you have to sign in. It takes about 15, 20 minutes at least to go to the nurse's office. And there's actually a box of some, a couple things, like some basic pads, tampons. But there's a very big sign that says, this is like for emergencies only. It's not like a regularly provided resource for girls. So that can be really a struggle for girls who don't have these on a consistent basis.
Okay, so you went to the school committee, you fought for it in your school, and now where are we today?
Yeah, so today, around that time, a couple months later, I actually decided to reach out to my state rep, Jeffrey Roy, who was very enthusiastic about the idea and very helpful. I wrote him a letter, and I attached the research paper that I wrote, and he invited me to his office. And that day, we actually wrote the bill, and he told me about how to write a fact sheet and get some co-sponsors and all that. And we just got started right away. And a couple months later, about in July, I believe, I testified at the State House for it, before the Education Committee, which was very exciting. And today it has just moved up to the next committee, which is really exciting.
So when you testified before the Education Committee, what was that like? And you had not even gone to college
yet. So I was a senior in high school. I think it was the day actually after my graduation. So it was, nerve-wracking. I'd never been in front of, how many people it was, 10 state representatives and senators. And they say, okay, you have 3 minutes, and the timer starts in front of you, and they tell you to just start talking and try and convince them about why this bill matters and why you think it should be passed and why they should support it. And I just really tried to, say the same argument that I've been saying over and over again, which is that it's just a basic necessity for women and for girls, and it should be just provided on a basic level in bathrooms at no cost to students so that it's not a barrier for girls, especially in their education.
Is this a topic that you ever felt a little bit uneasy about talking about, especially, in front of a bunch of lawmakers or when you were presenting your AP paper, or have you always been pretty comfortable? Because some people, perhaps older generations, would be like, ooh, I can't believe we're talking about this.
Yeah, that was, I actually did mention that it is kind of a taboo in society, to mention tampons and pads and periods and all that. And I think that is really changing. I think people are talking about it more as just a normal bodily function. That women, 50% of the population deals with on a regular basis. But it definitely did get easier to talk about the more I was talking about it. When I was first kind of researching it, you feel kind of awkward And when I'm writing about periods, my paper to my male teacher, you know, that can be a little bit awkward at first. But when I started kind of talking about it openly and really fighting for this as just an equality issue, it definitely became a lot easier. So by the time that I was talking to the education committee and, you know, there's cameras in my face and stuff, saying the word period or saying the word tampon just didn't really seem like a big deal at that point. It was just an important thing to talk about.
What's the response from other young women, or maybe women that you would have interviewed for your AP paper?
So women in general have been very supportive of the idea. I think it just seems like common sense to a lot of people that, you know, we need these products and why shouldn't they be where we need them? I think I got a lot of support from about a lot of the men that I talked to about this, because a lot of them don't realize that it's not already in place. Both my principal and the state rep thought that this was already in bathrooms. I thought that bathrooms already provided these things for free. So I think there's very little criticism, because I think people just kind of see it as a common sense issue.
That it's like toilet paper.
Yes, and it's just, you need it, and you can't really live your life really without it.
When you started this process, did you really think that anyone was going to listen to you and you were going to make a difference?
I think when I was at my school, I'm really fortunate to have an administration that was very responsive to students. So I think that was very encouraging from the get-go on just a local level, to know that if I brought up an issue, that it would at least be acknowledged and thought about. And I think that if other people realize that, and realize that if they want something to change and they want something to come about, that they have the power to do that,